My name is Sarthak Khadapkar and I am a computer science student. Welcome to my project's presentation on sales performance and employee management analysis system using SQL. In this video, I'll be introducing myself, explaining the project, and walking you through the various SQL queries and analysis I have performed. The objective of this project is to analyze the sales performance and employee management using SQL. I have used two main datasets, the orders table and the employees table. Throughout this project, I have explored various aspects of these datasets from simple queries to more complex analysis. The project is divided into three sections, the beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level questions, each designed to test the understanding of SQL and data analysis concepts. So let's start with our beginner level questions. Our first question is list all orders with order number, purchase amount, and order date. For this query, retrieve the required columns from the orders table. So I have used select order number, purchase amount, order date, and the result shows us the list of orders, purchase amounts, and the order date. The next question is find orders with purchase amount greater than 500. For this query, I have used the where clause for where the purchase amount is greater than 500. The output shows us the columns for the orders that meet this condition. Next question is retrieve the orders placed on a specific date or within a date range. So for a specific date, I have used where order date is equal to 2012-817. Equal to is an operator which is used to give the specific order date, and the result shows us the specific orders list of orders on the 17/8/2012. And then here is the second code where I have a list of orders between the dates 30/10/2012 and 10/9/2012. So the output shows us the list of orders between these dates. Our next question is count how many orders were recorded in the table. This query uses the count function to count the number of rows in the orders table. The output gives us the total number of orders. Our next question is find the maximum and minimum purchase amount. For this question, I have used the max function and the min function to find the maximum and minimum purchase amounts. The output will show us the values. Let's move on to the employees table. Our next question is list all the employees with their name, designation, and department. For this query, I have simply used select case and listed out the columns needed that are name, designation, and the department. Our next question is retrieve the employees earning more than a certain salary. For this question, I have taken the certain salary as 50,000 and I have used the where clause to filter the employees with the salary greater than 50,000. The output shows us the columns for the employees who meet this condition. The next question is find the employees hired after or before a certain date. For employees hired after a certain date, we have used a greater than operator to find the employees hired before a certain date. And we have used the less than operator for the employees which are hired before the specific date. And the output shows the list of all the employees which were hired before them. Our next question is display the employees who have a commission. So for this question, I have used a where clause with the is not null condition to filter the employees who have a commission. The output shows us all the columns for these employees. Our next question is count how many employees work in each department. For this question, I have used the group by clause to group the employees by department and count the number of employees in each department. The output shows us the department and the corresponding employee count. Let's move on to more difficult questions on the intermediate. Next question is calculate the total purchase amount across all orders. For this question, I have used the sum function to calculate the total sales. The output will give us the total sales amount. Our next question is group orders by date and calculate total sales per day. So we are using a group by clause to group the orders by date and calculate the total sales for each day. The output will show us the date and the corresponding total sales. Next question is find the top 5 highest purchase amounts. For this question, I have used the order by clause to sort the orders by purchase amount in descending order and the limit clause to limit the output to the top 5 orders. The output will show us the top 5 orders with the highest purchase amounts. Our next question is categorize the orders into low, medium, and high. So for this question, I have used a case statement to categorize the orders based on their purchase amount. The output will show us the order number, purchase amount, and the corresponding category. Our next question is find the average salary by department. For this query, I have used a group by clause to group the employees by department and calculate the average salary for each department. The output will show us the department and the corresponding average salary. Our next question is list the employees under a specific manager. So let us consider manager 6. So I have used a where clause where manager is equal to 6. So the output shows us the list of employees who have the manager 6. That is who have been assigned with the manager number 6. Moving on to the next question. Identify the highest and lowest paid employee. For this question, I have used the where clause with the or condition and used the max and min function to find out the maximum and the minimum salary. And the output screen shows the highest salary that is 75,000 and two lowest salary which has 18,000 per. Next question is show employees whose commission percentage is more than 10% of salary. For this question, I have used the where clause where commission is greater than salary into point 10. Here, point 10 is represents the 10% of the commission, 10% of the salary. So the output shows SQL query successfully executed. However, the result set is empty. This means that the code is correct and we have successfully executed it, but our no other condition is such that the commission is greater than 10% of the salary. So the set is empty. Let's move on to the next question that is group employees by designation and count how many in each role. For this question, I have used the count function for finding out the total employees and group by to find to a particular designation. So the output screen shows the different designations and the total number of employees working on that post. Let's move on to more difficult questions. Next question is identify the anomalous orders, extremely high or low purchase amounts. So for this query, I have used a where clause with the or condition to filter the orders with extremely high or low purchase amounts. The output shows us the orders that meet this condition. Next question is create a running total of sales over time. So for this query, I have used a sum function to calculate the running total of sales over time. The output will show us the date, purchase amount, and the corresponding running total. Our next question is classify the customers by total purchase requires grouping customer ID. So here I have used a group by clause to group the orders by customer ID and calculate the total purchase for each customer. I have also used a case statement to classify the customers based on their total purchase. The output will show us the customer ID, the total purchase amount, and the customer type. Next question is rank the employees by salary within each department. So for this question, we are using the rank function with the partition by clause to rank the employees within each department based on their salary. The output will show us the employee name, department, salary, and the corresponding rank. Our next question is identify the employees who have not received commission at all. For this query, I have used a where clause with the is null condition to filter the employees who have not received any commission. The output will show us all the columns for these employees. Our next question is evaluate the manager-wise employee count and salary cost. For this question, I have used the group by clause to group the employees by manager and calculate the employee count and total salary cost for each manager. The output will show us the manager, employee count, and the corresponding total salary cost. In conclusion, this project has given me a comprehensive understanding of SQL and its applications in data analysis. I have explored of various aspects of the orders and employees tables from simple queries to complex analysis. The insights gained from this project can be applied to real world problems, and I am confident that the skills I have developed will be valuable in my future endeavors. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have gained a better understanding of the project and SQL concepts. I am Sarthak Kadapkar, and today I am excited to present my project on the sales prediction using multiple linear regression. In this project, I have developed a multiple linear regression model to predict sales revenue based on the advertising spending across different media channels. I have worked using the advertising dataset, which is a widely used dataset in data science, to understand how investments in TV, radio, and newspaper advertising influence the sales performance. So, from understanding the data and visualizing relationships to building, evaluating, and improving regression models using Python and machine learning libraries is the full workflow of this project. So, first of all, I have used the Jupyter notebook for completing this project. I downloaded it from Anaconda. So now let's start with the project steps. So first of all, I have imported all the required libraries for my project for data handling, visualization, and modeling. For pandas and numpy for data manipulation, Seaborn and Matplotlib for data visualization, and scikit-learn for regression modeling and evaluation. My goal is to build a predictive model that can forecast sales based on advertising expenditure. So after loading the advertising.csv dataset into a Panda data frame, here I have used df for the loading the data frame and defined it as df. Now I have used the head, info, and describe functions for recording the first few records, then finding out the dataset size, data types, and ensuring that there are no missing values. So, our next step is to visualize the relationships between variables. To visualize the relationships between the variables, I have used a combination of plots and statistical methods. Here I have created a pair plot and a correlation heat map to understand the relationships between the independent variables and the dependent variables, that is cells. I have created a pair plot using the Seaborn library to visualize the relationship between each pair of variables. Additionally, I have created a correlation heat map to visualize the correlation coefficients between each pair of variables. As you can see on the screen, the coefficient values range from -1 to 1. So here, the values close to 1 indicate a strong positive correlation. The values close to -1 indicate a strong negative correlation, and the values close to 0 indicate little to no correlation. Our next step is to building a multiple linear regression model. So, first of all, I have defined the independent variables, such as X to be the independent variable, which includes the cells of TV, radio, and newspaper, and Y defining as the cells. So, so I have used a skikit library in Python to train a multiple linear regression model. This model will take the independent variables as input and predict the dependent variables. On this slide, the after interpreting the coefficients and in finding out the intercept, the coefficient for TV was 0.045, indicating that for every additional $1,000 spent on TV advertising, sales are expected to increase by 0.045 units. So, and whereas the coefficient for newspaper advertising is 0 minus 0.001, which is close to 0 and may indicate that the newspaper advertising has negligible impact on the sales. So for our next step is to get a feature selection, then build and compare regression models with different combinations of features, evaluate the model performance using score. So I have used a scalar.metrics feature for finding out the R square score, which indicates the variance and is very accurate for our prediction. In this step, I've built a multiple regression model using different combinations of features to compare their performance. I have used techniques such as recursive feature elimination and cross-validation to evaluate the models. I have evaluated the performance of each model using the R-square score, which measures the proportion of the variance in the dependent variable that is predictable from the independent variables. A higher R-square score indicates a better fit of the model to the data. So our first model is using a TV and radio, and the R2 score for after using the TV and radio is 0.897. And I have used the second model as TV, radio, and newspaper. And after getting the result, the R2 score was 0.8972. So similarly, I can make more models using different feature combinations like newspaper and TV and radio and newspaper. But from above data and specifically scatter plot graph, I can see that sales is mostly affected by only TV and radio. Newspaper doesn't affect the sales like the other two features or inputs. So we can say that the amount of sales that is negligible of for the newspaper as compared to the TV and radio. So our next step is to train and test the set. To evaluate the model's performance, I first need to split the dataset into training and testing sets. This is done to prevent the overfitting and to get an unbiased estimate of the model's performance. So, after evaluating the performance on the training data, I have used model for calling a linear regression function. Then, for evaluating the performance on test data, I have used y underscore pred to predict the R square score and the RMSC. Here, RMS is root mean square error. And then after finding out the RMSC score and the R square score, we move on to the analyzing the prediction errors and residuals using matplotlib. This analyze is used to analyze the performance of a multiple linear regression model by examining its prediction errors and residuals. The first line, that is residuals equal to y underscore test minus y underscore pred. This calculates the residuals by subtracting the predicted values from the actual values in the test dataset. The residuals represent the difference between the observed values and the values predicted by the model. Our next code, that is visualizing the model performance using diagnostic plots, generates a scatter plot with predicted values on the x-axis and residuals on the y-axis. This plot helps to identify the patterns in the residuals, such as if the residuals are randomly scattered around the horizontal axis with constant variance, it indicates that the model's assumptions are met. And if the residuals show a pattern, it may indicate that the model's assumptions are violated. The next scatter plot is between the actual values and the predicted values. This plot helps to evaluate the model's performance by checking if the points are closely aligned with the 45-degree line and indicates that the model is accurately predicting the actual values. If the points are consistently above or below the 45-degree line, it may indicate that the model is biased. By examining these plots, I have gained insights into the model's strengths and weaknesses, identifying the potential issues and refine the model to improve its performance. In this cell, given a short detail about the metrics used to evaluate the model's generalization. And a high R square score indicates that the model generalizes well to unseen data. A low MAE, MSC, and RMSC indicate that the model's predictions are close to the actual values. Here, MAE is mean average error, MSC is mean squared error, and RMSC is root mean squared error. By evaluating these metrics, I have assessed how well the model generalizes to the unseen data and identify the errors for areas for improvement. So now here I have defined y underscore pred for predicting the test data and r square r2 here for calculating the r square score and MSC for calculating mean squared error. Here, the round function is used to round the values to three decimal places, making the output more readable. Our next step was to create an interaction feature between TV and radio advertising. First of all, we have to create the interaction term. Then we have to add it to our multiple linear regression model and evaluate its performance. We can use the same metrics as before, which were R square score and RMSC, to compare the performance of the models with and without the interaction term. So, after comparing the results with the previous models, we got the R square score with the interaction term as 0.9677. Thus, by analyzing the coefficients of the model, we can understand how the combined advertising channels affect sales prediction. By creating an interaction term and evaluating the model performance, we can gain a better understanding of how different variables interact with each other and improve the accuracy of our predictions. To further analyze the interaction term, we can use partial dependence plots to visualize the relationship between the interaction term and the predicted outcome. This can help us to understand how the interaction between TV and radio advertising affects the sales. As you can see on this screen, I have listed down the key findings of the whole project, which were first of all implementing the different libraries, then the evaluating the model and the impact of different features on the cells, then showing the results have that of the TV and radio advertising have a significant positive impact on sales, while newspaper advertising has a relatively negligible then the interaction using the interaction term between TV and radio advertising to capture the potential synergy between these two channels. So the insights and recommendations which I have observed by completing this project, businesses can optimize their advertising budgets by allocating more resources to TV and radio advertising, as these channels have a significant impact on the sales. The interaction term between TV and radio advertising suggests that combining these channels can lead to increased sales, potentially due to the complementary nature of these media. Newspaper advertising, while still a viable option, may not be as effective as TV and radio advertising in driving the sales. To further improve the model's accuracy, additional data or features could be incorporated. So, as a conclusion, the multiple linear program regression analysis effectively modeled the impact of advertising channels on the cells, revealing the significant insights into the relationships between TV, radio, and newspaper advertising. Through this project, I have learned to incorporate the different data sets and analyze them to predict the most suitable and profitable way of advertising our models. This was my overall project, and thank you for listening. I hope you have gained some insights about the usage of Python in the Jupyter notebook and implementing different linear regression models for analyzing the different uh, models. Thank you.